Hey everyone, so before we start the video, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to What's Up. He's one of the Discord members here who helped me with this video, doing some tests between his Ashlynn, my Ashlynn, and a lot of what I was talking about in here today was confirmed, with him. So just quick shout out to him, thanks, and hope you enjoy the video. Hey everyone, so today's video is going to be a showcase guide video on Ashlynn. So Ashlynn, I finally got her fully booked up, which is what I was waiting for to do a video on her. Ashlynn is another one of those red, green, and blue characters that is close to being, a light and dark character, just in a green skin, which is good for players like me who can't seem to pull light and dark legendaries very well. So I have to use, heroes that I got. And I do have an A6 Ashlynn, which is saying something. But Ashlynn, like Nero, was one of those seasoned heroes, so you could, summon multiple copies of her, and that's what I did to get up to where she is now. I will say, just like Nero, she's in the discussion for being the best red, green, blue character. I said in previous videos that I think Nero is, but it's because of what Nero brings with his aura. Nero isn't as much of a standalone threat as Ashlynn. Ashlynn has a much better overall kit than Nero, but Nero is just a better support, I think, overall for a bunch of different teams than Ashlynn is. But Ashlynn, I could 100% understand the argument that she is better than Nero, and I probably wouldn't have too much of a debate in me to discuss that. So let's talk about why she's so good. Okay? So on her trait here, Mystery of Magic, it says, when an enemy restores health for others, Ashlynn reduces their healing by 50% and gains magic sparks equal to the healing amount. And that's capped at 50% of her base max health. Now, this got reduced, got nerfed, sorry. This used to be really, really good. It used to say whenever an enemy restores health, just in general. So she was really good against Holy Armor Virgil, Shark Soul Andre, all of that stuff, and then they took it away because she was too good. And of course they nerf the red, green, blue characters, but not the light and dark characters. But that is my mini rant for today. So even with them taking this out, she is still good. And the gaining magic sparks, this is kind of a negligible gain. I haven't seen it do much, but anyway, I digress. Moving on. It says she gains 1 bonus turn upon reaching max magic sparks and has a 25% chance to gain 1 bonus turn when an enemy removes negative effects, and that's up to 2 times per round. And then whenever she is ascended, she has this cap increased on those magic sparks gained by other people healing. She also increases her chance of a bonus turn by 35%, and then it could also happen 3 times per round. So a couple things on this, okay? The first thing is this 25% of gaining a bonus turn whenever an enemy removes a negative effect. This does not mean when a negative effect falls off of somebody. Like if they have a stun on them for 2 turns and then the stun goes on the second turn and now it's removed, that does not count as removing it. It just expired, right? So she won't have a chance to get bonus turns that way. But if it is removed by some kind of effect where someone is cleansing that negative effect off of them, such as a Jocasta, when Jocasta cleanses with her ultimate ability, it says remove 1 negative effect. That's whenever Ashlynn has the chance to trigger that bonus turn. And she can do it up to 3 times per round if she's ascended. Okay, so that's her trait, right? She gains magic sparks, which play into her kit that I'll get into here in a second. She gets a bonus turn whenever she gains magic sparks, maxing out, and I'll show you how you can see that in an actual game. And then she has a chance to get a bonus turn anytime someone cleanses a negative effect from somebody. So, Ashlynn has this unique ability where she switches in between light and dark modes. So this is her dark mode right now, but as you can see up in this little icon here, this is her light mode. And on her special here, she switches in between light and dark. This is how you do it with her special. So, I did want to give you some context before we go over this, because I have to talk about 2 basics, 2 specials, and 2 ultimates. Okay. So her basic reads, deals 130% damage to one enemy, applies silence to them for 1 turn, and gains magic sparks equal to 15% of max health. Damage scales with this hero's max health. So the silence, you do need focus to land. On top of that, it says gains magic sparks equal to 15% of max health. So whatever your max health is, your magic sparks bar fills equal to that. And then also her damage scales with her health. A lot of things on the basic. This character, when you read her, is quite confusing, but whenever put into practice, all of this stuff kind of makes sense. What I've come to see, and it might be based on the amount of health that I have, but if you activate this basic ability 4 times, yes. If you activate it 4 times, then she will be at max sparks, max magic sparks, to get that bonus turn from her trait. Okay? This is the most reliable way to get magic sparks from both her basics on her light and dark. So her light basic deals 130% damage to an enemy and then 60% splash damage to the rest of the team, the enemy's team, and gains magic sparks, same thing, equal to 15% of the magic health. The max health of her, and then damage is increased by 50% at max magic sparks. So if she is at max magic sparks, this is doing 50% more damage, so 180% damage on a basic is pretty good. And of course, it is filling her magic spark bar to grant her that bonus turn and to eventually have this do 50% more damage. So her special, on her dark special, she switches form, right? So she'll switch to the light mode, but then she removes 2 negative effects from herself and then gains a bonus turn. So you don't waste a turn. You switch to light, and then you have your option of using the light attacks. It then says also sacrifices 40% of max health in exchange for bonus attack. Now, what I've seen this do, it doesn't seem to remove any kind of health from her. All it does is it takes her max health, what her max health is at, and then converts it into 40% of 40% of bonus attack. So she becomes a threat real quickly, even if her attack is not super high, because her health is converting into more attack. And you'll see that whenever I show the stats on my Ashlynn. So then in her light mode, again, she switches from light to dark, and she removes 2 negative effects again, and then gains a bonus turn again. So that's all the same. But then on this mode, she recovers 30% of her max health and then gains a shield. And then that shield strength scales with her max health. So where I'm at currently is whenever she's switching in between light and dark modes, she's actually gaining around like 10,000 health back. So this character is actually amazing. She's really good. And this is one of the reasons why, is because she has some self-sustain within her kit, and the longer she stays alive, the more of a threat she becomes. So everything's kind of working out well right now for her. And then her ultimate ability, she has 2 of them here, right? Her dark ultimate ability deals 130% damage to all enemies, applies stun to the primary target, so whoever you're clicking on is going to get stunned, and then the other people around that person is still getting dealt 130% damage. And then it also applies defense up to herself, and if she's ascended, sorry, not ascended. If she has mastery books, which I have in her, she also gives the ally with the highest attack defense up 2 for 2 turns. Now, I've checked and tested this because I was wondering if she has the highest attack on the field and she uses this, will she still give defense up 2 to somebody else, like the next highest attack? And that is what happens. So, very good ultimate. Couple things to talk about here. One, giving herself defense up 2 and someone else on the field defense up 2 is amazing in itself. And then on top of that, this stun is for 2 turns, which is forever in Arena or RTA. And it can't be resisted. You don't need any kind of focus, and it can't be dodged. The stun can't be dodged. This damage can, but the stun can't. This is one of the most broken ultimates in the entire game. It is that good. And her light side is actually just as good, maybe a little bit worse. So let's talk about that. But yeah, this is the main purpose for Ashlynn. But the nice thing is because she has so much sustain, with the HP recovery and taking off negative effects on herself, that she can loop back around and essentially nuke the entire field. And that's with this ultimate ability on the light side. So it says consumes all magic sparks, right? So if your magic sparks are full, she's going to consume your entire magic spark bar and take it down to 0, so keep that in mind, and deal 130% damage to all enemies while ignoring 50% of their defense. So it ignores the entire enemy team's defense, 50% of it, and then applies increased damage taken 2 to the primary target for 2 turns. Now again, this takes focus. You have to have focus in order to land this, unlike the stun. At least I'm pretty sure. It's almost negligible because whenever you're using this ultimate, the team's basically dead. And then it says the damage scales with the amount of magic sparks consumed and is increased by 200% against bosses. This ability cannot be dodged or deflected. So, like I said, that stun ultimate is amazing in itself, and then this ultimate ability on the light side is like probably just as good, and maybe even better. Like, I don't know. It's so hard to decide. The problem is you need to do some setup for this ultimate ability where you don't really need the setup for the dark version. Okay, so a couple things. This damage scales with the amount of magic sparks consumed. This is misleading, okay? The way that this should read is this ultimate ability does 2 separate pips of damage, right? It does this 130% damage from the actual skill poker rain, and then it does an additional attack, which I'll show you from some gameplay videos. It's shown in this like little white lettering. It's a separate attack, so it's like 2 different attacks. And I say that because it gets around certain mechanics in the game, and we'll talk about those too. So she can do upwards of like 50k just on this magic sparks. So in turn, maybe 70,000 damage on the entire field. It's absolutely nuts. And then on top of that, it can't be dodged, and it's never a weak hit. Like, it always crits. So if you have 100% crit rate, this ability is nuts. So that's her kit, right? Which is a lot to take in. And again, I'll show some gameplay videos where I explain some of this stuff because it needs to be shown. So her base stats here, I mean, if you just look at this before I show you the build, like really great speed, high health, decent attack, okay defense, right? So here are my stats. I have 4,400 attack. A lot of this, I did not prioritize attack. This is simply from her masteries, which I'll show you. And just some okay substats here and there. But I really wanted to prioritize health because her damage scales on health, and she gets magic spark. It fills her magic spark bar based on her max health. So you want as much health as possible on Ashlynn, and then try and get the rest of the stats elsewhere. So her defense is okay. It's a little low, but her ultimate ability on the dark side, giving her defense up 2, helps mitigate this. And I have her really speedy. I wish this was quicker, but this is as fast as I could get her while maintaining 100% crit rate. But the amount of speed is really important because, like I said, that 2-turn stun is just so key on, certain defenses, arena defenses, or RTA teams. So I want her as fast as possible to land that 2-turn stun to kind of throw, a wrench in the enemy's plan. And then she's got 100% crit rate and 200% crit damage. So this crit damage is also low, and it seems low, but I'm telling you, whenever she has max sparks and she's doing, her light ultimate ability, she's killing people even with these kind of crit damage stats, because, like I said, it's like a separate pip of damage with that white number damage that will all make sense whenever I show the gameplay video, which is based on the magic sparks, which plays into the entirety of her damage stats. So I know that's a little confusing, but everything makes sense whenever you see the gameplay videos, okay? And this is her gear. So I have some decent speed rolls on her weapon, along with some okay crit rate and attack substats. I have attack substats, health and crit rate on the helm. Nice crit rate roll, some defense and crit damage on the chest. Speed boots with crit rate, attack, and health. Health percentage ring with speed, some defense, which I would have preferred, obviously, like crit damage or something like that here, but this is my best health percentage ring with speed on it. And then here I've got health percentage with attack percentage, crit rate, and crit damage. Again, some opportunity here for more speed. So that is that's the gear. These are her glyphs. So she gets 27 speed from her glyphs. She gets 10 crit rate from glyphs as well, along with some nice health. So those are her glyphs. So her ascensions, she's kind of like Nero, where she gets benefit from every single ascension, right? So on her first ascension, 15% health is huge. Her attack is nice. Her defense is nice. And then the speed, obviously, is very important. Her trait, ascending her to A5 I don't think it's like a huge game changer for her, to be honest. But all of the stats along the way are really important. And then even the A6, the additional health and defense and attack is just really nice. So for her mastery tree, I did book her out completely because she benefits a lot from the ability tree. This attack percentage, I kind of wish that it was crit damage, but at the same time, I think this also helps in general. It doesn't really matter. And all of her ability masteries are relevant on her kit. And then she also gets that speed physique at the top. So all of this is just really great stuff. And she benefits, from all of these speed to health physique masteries, which a lot of people have a hard time doing. But since she's built so fast, she benefits from all of this. Okay. So I mentioned on her ultimate ability, and this one is going to be maybe a little bit longer video, guys, because she needs some explaining. How, because this does a separate bit of damage, it gets around certain abilities in the game. I won't be able to show you just because it's so hard to mimic it, but you're just going to have to take my word for it. There are people in the game like Divine Yolanda, right? Where she says, this hero is immune to all negative effects and will not take more damage than 65% of their max health, right? So when you read this, it sounds like Divine Yolanda can't be killed with one attack if it does more than 65% damage, right? But with Ashlynn, if she does the, 35% damage from her first instance of damage from her light ultimate, and then the second pip of damage, which is coming from the magic sparks, does the additional 35%. I said that backwards. If her ultimate does 65% damage, and then the rest does 35%, or vice versa, it doesn't matter. She will kill Divine Yolanda at full health. So that's how I know it's like 2 separate pips of damage. The other thing is there's another really good character in the game. If I can find her, Awaken, right? So she has this thing that says, upon taking fatal damage, if this hero has 4 rage, consumes all rage and converts the damage into healing. So she will heal herself back up if she's about to die, if she has 4 rage. But what I've seen with Ashlynn is if she has enough damage on her light ultimate with the magic sparks, it cuts right through this. It kills her. So I think the damage is done to Awaken, and then on top of that, the white damage comes in and then wipes her out again. So again, 2 pips of damage. And then I've also seen it get around this spell that is in Arena, the Shield of Mercy spell, right? Which grants a shield blocking 1 instance of lethal attack to an ally, and then restores 15% of the max health upon removal. So what happens is whenever someone takes lethal damage, they stay alive, right? But again, with Ashlynn's ultimate, it cuts right through this. Now you have to have enough magic sparks to have all of this happen, but hopefully I'll be able to show you this here. Okay. So 2 things that I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you in separate clips, which I'll talk over because I now have video editing capability. I'll show you how the magic sparks scale in damage with that white damage from her ultimate. But here, because this team is just really, really tanky, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to make sure that I can show you the magic sparks being able to kill Awaken even whenever she has max rage, right? Okay. So the first thing that we need to do here is we need to kill this Methasia, and then we need to bring in our Ashlynn, and then we'll bring in people that just give bonus turns so we can loop back around to this stuff quickly. So we'll bring in Yolanda, and then we'll bring in Mary. Okay. Yeah, so here's what we're going to do. All right, so under Ashlynn here, under her health bar, you see there's this black bar that the other characters don't have. This is her magic sparks bar. You'll see this fill up whenever she uses her basic ability or whenever Methasia heals, because if they have the revive spell, once Alicia kills her, she might revive Methasia, and then Methasia's going to heal everybody, and you'll see that magic sparks bar fill, okay? Okay, so Mary's going to grant the extra turn to Ashlynn. I am going to stun Nero just because I don't want him to wipe my team before I have all this stuff take place. Okay, so right now, Awaken is at her max rage. So if she were to die, she would heal herself and not die, okay? But like I said, what we're going to do is we're going to fill this health bar. Okay, so watch. Ooh. Okay, so Methasia just did her basic and didn't heal other members of the team. She just healed herself, which is why our magic sparks bar is still low. All right. So here, what we're going to do is we're going to use our basic, and you'll see the magic sparks bar fill up, okay? Okay, so there's our magic spark bar, right? Filling up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to move into light mode, and then used our basic there, and again, the magic bar filling up, right? So you'll see in just a little bit that once she uses her 4th basic ability, because we're at 2 right now, she will then be at max sparks, and then she'll gain a bonus turn from her trait, which says, you know, right there, she gains 1 bonus turn upon reaching max magic sparks, okay? So one more time, and then we're going to be good. So let's speed this up a little bit. Okay. All right. So here, it looks like Afroween also has that shield. Now, the thing that I don't know about, and I'm sorry about this, but I don't know if Ashlynn's ability cuts through shield and Afroween surviving, but we'll see. Okay. So you're going to see it right here, all right? So you'll see 2 different pips of damage. Okay, so Ashlynn just got a bonus turn because she gained magic sparks from her basic ability, and now the magic sparks bar is full. So you'll see when I use this ultimate ability, you'll see a bunch of red damage, and then right at the very end, you're going to see this big white number, okay? And it looks like that shield fell off. So you'll see now, this is a great example, you'll see Afroween, her rage bar will deplete, but then she's still going to die, okay? So here we go. Watch up here and watch for the white letters. You see it? 19744, and she died. So it's like 2 pips of damage, right? Anyway, pretty nuts. So yeah, that's the showcase of Ashlynn here, guys. I will include 2 clips right at the end of this where I explain, you know, how the magic sparks damage scales, that little white number that you saw there. And hopefully you guys are convinced to build Ashlynn. She is just absolutely amazing. She's a ticking time bomb. If she ever gets to max sparks, the game's basically over. So on top of that, the fact that she has, you know, that stun on her other ability, as well as, you know, healing herself up by switching back and forth between the light and dark mode, just makes her all the better. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I hope it was informative, and if you have any questions about Ashlynn, let me know. All right, see you later. Okay, guys, so this first clip is just showing that if you don't have any magic sparks on Ashlynn, she won't do that white damage that I showed you in Arena. So that's all I'm showing here. As you can see, no white damage. Okay, so next clip. Okay, so this clip is just simply showing you if she has some magic sparks, she'll be able to do, you know, some of that white pip damage. You saw the full context of it in Arena there against the Afroween, Afroni, whatever. And here you're going to see whenever she just has the magic bar that she has now, which is 25% full, she'll still do white damage, but it definitely won't be the 19,000 that you saw in Arena. So here, I don't know why I'm taking so long, but here you'll see, oh yeah, I slow it down for you. So here's the last pip and 4,000 damage. So yeah, it's right around, you know, 25% of what that max health was in Arena, which was the, you know, 19,000, and here we're getting 4 on 25%, and then it should scale. Like if you're doing it with 50%, it's going to be right around, you know, 9,000 damage, and then the next one's going to be around 15, and so on and so forth. So I hope that was helpful. All right, see ya.